Today, we're talking about a company called MAWARI. They're building the infrastructure for the 3D internet. The big question is buying one of their nodes like planting a money tree for the future, or is it just a huge risky bet? We're going to explore that today through the eyes of two experts.
Welcome to Explainer.
Okay, before we dive in, just one really important thing to get out of the way. This explainer is purely for your information, to give you some material to think about. It is absolutely not investment advice. Please keep that in mind. So, for our discussion today, we have two fund managers. On one side, we have Akira. He's the visionary, always betting on what the future could be. And on the other side, we have Kenji, our realist, who's focused on the cold, hard risks. We're going to let them battle it out to get a clearer picture of whether a MAWARI node is a smart move.
All right, let's start with the bull case, with our optimist, Akira. The reason he's so fired up about MAWARI really boils down to one thing first: the sheer size of the potential market. Akira points to this number and says $1.2 trillion. That's the projected size of the spatial computing market by 2035. We are standing at the dawn of the internet's next evolution, and MAWARI is positioned right at the center of it. He sees a massive opportunity here. Akira also highlights just how smart MAWARI's strategy is. He says, they aren't trying to fight AWS or Google head-on. That would be crazy. Instead, they're specializing in what the giants are bad at: real-time performance and ultra-low latency. That niche, she believes, is incredibly important and is exactly where they can win.
And next, Akira points to their proven track record. He argues, look, MAWARI isn't just another Web3 project selling a dream. They have real clients like Netflix and BMW. They've been profitable for 7 years, completely self-funded. What better proof do you need that their technology is the real deal?
And then Akira brings up what he calls MAWARI's secret weapon: DePIN. This model, where a network is built from nodes run by individuals, is the key. He says it's the trump card that allows them to achieve low costs and ultra-low latency in a way that the big, centralized giants simply can't replicate. Okay, the future that Akira is painting sounds pretty exciting, I have to admit. But now it's time for our realist, Kenji, to pour some cold water on all that hype. So what are the risks that he sees? Kenji's first warning is about the competition. He says, it's a nice story, but you're competing against giants like AWS and Google. The moment they decide this market is truly profitable, they'll enter with their enormous resources. We have to be realistic and ask, does MAWARI really stand a chance then? Next, Kenji points out how fragile the market structure is. He says, as you can see, the market right now depends heavily on hardware. If people don't buy the XR devices, MAWARI's infrastructure is basically a pipe dream. This is a fundamental risk that could shake the entire business. And to sum it all up, Kenji lays out all the risks. He says, the market is immature, it's hard to get enough node operators, you got fierce competition from the giants, and then there's regulation. The reality of business is that a great idea doesn't guarantee success. We just can't ignore these things. Okay, so we've heard both arguments. Now let's get to the core of it, the part every investor wants to know: the numbers. Let's dig into the specific estimates of what you could actually earn by running a node. It's a simple question, but it's the most important one. Does this investment offer a return that's actually worth the risk? Let's take a look at the estimates and find out. Now, before we get to the numbers, there's a really important premise here. What we're about to look at is based only on the sustainable long-term returns from the network's actual business revenue. We're not including any of the initial token rewards because their value is uncertain. This is about evaluating the real, down-to-earth profitability. Here are the revenue forecasts for 2030. These are 3 scenarios based on capturing just a tiny slice of the market, anywhere from 0.1% to 1%. Even in the most pessimistic case, the network revenue is $88 million. We'll use these numbers to calculate the rewards for an individual. Now, looking at these numbers, Akira can barely contain his excitement. Look at the realistic scenario. For the visionary tier, that's $385 a year. You could make back your license fee in a single year. That's a phenomenal ROI.
But Kenji immediately counters. Wait a minute, that's purely hypothetical. In the pessimistic scenario, it's only $77. We have to remember that these numbers themselves are built on a lot of uncertain assumptions. So, all the evidence is on the table. You've heard Akira's case for huge potential and Kenji's warnings about the very real risks. From here on out, you're the judge. Which argument do you find more persuasive? To help you make your call, let's just lay out the main points. On one side, you have this huge market, unique tech, and the promise of high returns. On the other, you have market risk, fierce competition, and uncertainty about those returns. The upside and the downside. Which one weighs more heavily for you? In the end, whether this investment pays off really comes down to this one question. Is the future of the 3D internet coming as fast as the visionaries believe? Or is it, as the realists worry, still a long way off? What's your answer? Now, for those of you who have watched this far and are thinking you might want to take another step, we have something special for you. Exclusively for viewers of this explainer, we can offer a referral code that gets you a discount on a MAWARI Node license. So if you're interested, you might want to get ready to write this down. The code is 7KWRWT6H. You can either type that code in or just use the link in the description of this explainer to get the same 5% discount. So that was our multifaceted look at the investment case for MAWARI. Of course, the final decision is up to you and you alone. We just hope that today's information serves as a useful lens for you to see the future. We'll see you on the next explainer.